welcome to the deep dive. So, you sent us this great stack of sources, all focused on one specific landmark in Colorado, Chasm Falls.
Right, and on the surface, it seems pretty straightforward.
Totally. You look at it, you think, okay, a 25-foot waterfall. How deep can we really go on this? But, we know better.
We do, that one little geographical pinprick. It's our way in.
It's our launch pad. It's how we get into one of America's most incredible and, honestly, most demanding landscapes, Rocky Mountain National Park.
Mm-hmm.
So our mission today is to get past that postcard photo of the falls and really synthesize the park's geography, the logistical challenges of just getting around, and the sheer scale of the trail system.
And you have to start with the waterfall itself. We should ground this in the facts first.
Okay, let's unpack this.
So our sources confirm it's a 25-foot, which is about 7.6-meter, single-drop waterfall. It's on the Fall River. But here's the key stat.
The elevation.
The elevation, 9,068 feet. That's 2,764 meters.
9,068 feet. Okay, so right away, that changes everything. We are solidly in the high country.
Exactly.
This isn't just some pretty spot you drive up to easily.
Yeah.
That elevation implies a very specific kind of environment. You're talking about a steep, cold, high-altitude stream just carving its way through the terrain.
Right. It's dramatic. And that elevation, that single number, is the foundation for everything else we need to talk about. Altitude, cold, weather that can change in an instant.
So to really get Chasm Falls, you have to get the whole park. And for anyone planning a visit, understanding the dual nature of RMNP is absolutely step one.
It really is. The park is in northern Colorado, but it functions like two separate places.
Connected by one road.
Exactly. One very high road. So you have the east side. This is the one most people think of. You get in through the Beaver Meadows or Fall River entrances right near Estes Park.
And that's where you find all the famous stuff, right? The Bear Lake Road corridor.
That's the one. Moraine Park, Sprague Lake, and the trailheads for dozens of those iconic alpine lake hikes. The whole operation on that side feels geared toward managing huge crowds and accessibility.
Okay, so if the east side is about volume and hitting those big iconic peaks, what's the west side like? Is it just the leftovers?
Oh, not at all. The west side is a whole different ballgame. You access it near the town of Grand Lake, and it has a completely different feel.
How so?
Well, its main feature is the Kawaniche Valley. It's less about those jagged, sheer peaks and more about wide-open meadows, the river systems, subalpine forests.
So more serene.
I'd say so. And you also have spots like the Holdsworth Historic Site, which is all about the old ranch and culture. It just feels, I don't know, more focused on solitude and the ecosystem itself.
That structural duality makes the connection between them so critical. And all our sources point to this one artery, Trail Ridge Road.
Yeah, which crosses the Continental Divide.
An amazing road.
It's a true feat of engineering, but it's also the single most important logistical choke point in the entire park.
Because it doesn't stay open year-round.
Not even close. It connects the east and west sides beautifully in the summer and fall, sure, but the sources are crystal clear. During the winter, Trail Ridge Road closes completely. Snow and ice.
And that closure isn't just a small inconvenience. It fundamentally redefines what a day trip in the park even means.
It absolutely does. If you're in Estes Park on the east side and you wanted to pop over to Grand Lake on the west side, what looks like a short drive on the map
Becomes impossible.
Right. The road closure forces you into this massive detour. We're talking over 200 miles and maybe a 4-hour drive one way. You have to use external highways to drive all the way around the park.
A 4-hour drive. That just proves the point. You can't just know where the waterfall is. You have to know if you can even get there.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, moving from point A to point B inside RMNP is just far more complex than in a lot of other national parks.
So knowing Chasm Falls is at 9,000 feet is one thing.
But knowing that a road closure might turn your trip into a 4-hour detour, that's the difference between a successful day and a complete failure.
Okay, so we've got the geography down. Now let's talk scale, the recreational scale. We've gone from one 25-foot waterfall to this massive two-sided park.
And now we talk about what it takes once you actually get out of your car.
Exactly, because for anyone wanting to get active here, RMNP has, over 350 miles of trails?
Over 350 miles of maintained hiking trails, and that covers every possible level of commitment.
And this is where that elevation we keep talking about becomes a very real physical thing for people.
It does. When your starting point is around 8,000 feet and you're often climbing well past 10,000, those miles just aren't the same as miles at sea level.
You really can't overstate that. A single mile at 9,000 feet can feel harder than 2 miles at 2,000 feet. Your body needs more water. You feel the exertion immediately.
And the risk of altitude sickness is real. Headaches, nausea, it's a daily factor for people coming in from lower elevations.
It changes how you even read a trail guide. You see something like the Bear Lake Loop and it says 0.6 miles, think, oh, that's nothing.
Right, trivial. But it's not trivial if your body hasn't acclimated yet. And that little 0.6-mile stroll exists right alongside these monster full-day treks.
Which brings us to a really interesting point that the sources kind of imply. That 0.6-mile walk around Bear Lake. It often requires the exact same high-demand, timed entry permit as a 12-mile climb up to Long Lake.
That is the key administrative insight. The park system forces you to choose right away. Are you going for a quick, accessible view or a full-day commitment? And that pressure from the permit system means you have to plan ahead to maximize your time.
So give us the spectrum. Lay out some of those east side trails so we can feel that difference in commitment.
Okay, sure. On the very easy end, you've got Bear Lake or Spurg Lake. Both are under a mile. Great for getting used to the altitude or if you need something accessible.
And the next step up.
The mid-range, and this usually involves some serious elevation gain. You're looking at trails like Dream Lake, which is about 2.1 miles round trip, or Gem Lake from the Lumpy Ridge Trailhead, that's 3.4 miles. For a casual hiker, those are major climbs.
Right, and then you have the big ones, the ones that require an early start, a full pack, real preparation.
The really serious stuff. Lawn Lake is a demanding 12-mile round trip. Fern Lake is a big one at 7.3 miles. The difference in commitment from a 30-minute walk to an 8-hour high-altitude mountain climb.
Yeah.
It's just phenomenal.
So many of them start from the same place.
Exactly. A huge number of those famous spots, Dream Lake, Emerald Lake, Lake Hiaha, they all funnel through that one single, incredibly busy Bear Lake trailhead.
We should give the west side its due, though. It offers a very different kind of experience.
It really does.
While the east is all about those high alpine lakes and granite peaks, the west side trails feel like they follow the rivers more.
That's a great way to put it. They're more about following the water, staying on the valley floor. For example, Adams Falls is a super short, accessible 0.8 miles. Very popular.
But they have long ones, too.
Oh, yeah. They have serious commitments. Cascade Falls is 6.8 miles from the North Inlet Trailhead, and then there's the trek to the old mining camp, Lulu City, which is 7.4 miles.
But no matter which side you're on, the data is everything. You absolutely have to know the mileage, the elevation gain, and where the trailhead is. You can't just guess.
You can't assume anything. Which brings us to how people actually manage all this. How do modern visitors navigate such an immense dynamic system?
Preparation. That's the only answer.
It's everything. And with this kind of scale, with this kind of changeability, the first step is still the park's official resources. We have all this digital tech, but the human element is still crucial.
You mean the visitor centers?
Yes. RMNP has 5 of them. They are essential. Go in, talk to a ranger who was literally on those trails yesterday, ask about current conditions. That intel is priceless.
And beyond talking to a person, there are the real-time alerts.
Yeah.
Knowing the trail map is one thing, but knowing what's closed today is everything.
Absolutely critical. You have to remember, this isn't just passive wilderness. It's a heavily maintained piece of infrastructure. And our sources had a perfect example of this.
The bridge replacement.
Right, the temporary trail closure for Dream Lake and Emerald Lake. It was happening in the late fall because an outlet bridge needed to be replaced.
And the dates were so specific. It was like Mondays through Thursdays for 2 straight weeks.
Exactly. And that level of detail, knowing a trail is closed during the week but will reopen for the weekend, that's the difference between a great trip and a totally wasted morning for someone who flew in for just a few days.
It tells you they're constantly working on it. Bridges wear out, rock slides happen, snow can come at any time.
So you need that official information. And that's primarily on the nps.gov website. That's where you find the alerts, the administrative details, the phone numbers.
Okay, so this is where the digital toolkit comes in. It kind of blends that official NPS status with all this sophisticated mapping and planning tech.
Yes, the source material mentioned platforms that offer these incredible planning features. And you need them for this level of variety.
These aren't just static maps anymore, are they?
No, they're like interactive planning assistants. We saw features mentioned like Build Custom Route Beta, which lets you do your own risk assessment, and Route Converter, which can help you estimate your hiking time based on distance and elevation gain.
And the ability to print maps, still so important.
Vital. Because your cell phone is not going to work in most of the park.
You know, it also seems like these tools connect the whole experience to a larger like an ethical framework. We saw mentions of partnerships with groups like 1% for the Planet and Lead No Trace.
And that's a crucial point. The planning toolkit is doing two things. It's helping you have fun, but it's also trying to minimize your impact on those 350 miles of trails.
Because with this many people, any damage just gets magnified.
It compounds so quickly, especially in those fragile high-altitude ecosystems. It really asks visitors to shift from being just passive tourists to active stewards of the land.
This raises an important question then. How do you balance it?
Mhm.
How do you balance the desire for that spontaneous I'm in the wilderness feeling with the really structured, detailed preparation you need to navigate a place this complex?
Especially with those pop-up alerts and choke points like Trail Ridge Road.
Right.
I think it requires a shift in your mindset. You're not just visiting a park, you're operating within a complex system, both administrative and environmental. Chasm Falls is a beautiful, specific 25-foot feature, yes, but its true significance is defined by where it sits within this vast, challenging park.
And we've seen that RMNP is just a park of extremes. You have the easy 0.6-mile loop and the brutal 12-mile high-altitude trek.
And all of it is subject to dramatic weather and those administrative realities like a bridge being out for a few weeks. It just demands respect and constant preparation.
You have to respect the geography. Starting at 9,000 feet means your body is already working harder, and your plans can be completely wrecked by a road closure you didn't know about.
Absolutely.
So what does this all mean? I guess the answer is that if you want to really appreciate the small wonders here, like Chasm Falls, you have to use every single planning tool you can get your hands on. You have to check conditions, map your routes, understand the east-west divide.
And if you do that, your discovery